Okay, so, all right, this is The Doors, and it's Break On Through to the Other Side, as the screen says. So somebody requested The Doors a while back, and like I said before, uh, I've been kind of listening to the same kind of like three or four bands and stuff. So I want to like branch out, I guess, and do a couple more like other bands that I haven't reacted to, I guess, on this channel. So yeah, that's what I want to do. Because some people said that there's not a lot of selection, I guess, or something. But either way, I appreciate all the feedback, and yeah, I agree. So I'm doing some other bands and stuff to get into here, and obviously, if I don't know if you heard before, I love the Doors, and they're one of my favorite bands, but I've never gotten into the song and like broke it down and all that stuff, and never reacted to it or whatever. So I'm kind of like excited to do this, I guess. And yeah, just get into it. It's not a long song, and yeah, we'll just talk about it after, and let's just go.
You know the day destroys the night, night divides the day. Try to run, try to hide, break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side, yeah. We chased our pleasures here, dug our treasures there, but can you still recall the time we cried, break on through to the other side, break on through to the other side. Come on! Everybody loves my baby. Everybody loves my baby. She get high, she get high, she get high, she get high, girl. I found an island in your arms, country in your eyes. Arms are changes, eyes are lines. Break on through to the other side. Break on through to the other side. Break on through. Oh, oh yeah. Wait to see, week to week, day to day, hour to hour, day to straight, deep and wide. Break on through to the other side. Break on through to the other side. Break on through, break on through, break on through, break on through. Hey, 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 hey.
Hmm. All right. Yeah. Break on through. I just really love that song. I don't know, probably see me smiling and during the whole thing, but it's just the Doors always make me happy. Jim Morrison is one of my favorite people that has ever lived. And yeah, I just really love his voice, and I really love the Doors altogether. I love Ray Manzarek's piano skills, his keyboard skills, I guess, whatever, and he's a great organist. And then like Robbie Krieger on guitar, he was very underrated, and he also wrote many good Doors songs, and I think they said that he was like their secret weapon, which is like very true. And then of course you had John Densmore on the drums, and he fit perfectly with the Doors, and he didn't overdo it. He just did his job, and he sounded great, especially with the drumming at the beginning there that you hear, and then the guitar comes in and everything. It's just a great song. So yeah, I mean, on Genius.com over here, I'll stop babbling on here. This is the quintessential Doors song, vivid with exceptional imagery, drug use, metaphor, psychedelic musical composition, and amazing vocals. This is a great example of everything the Doors do the best, and all on the same track. Jim Morrison was way into his psychedelics, and this is most likely a reference on LSD use and the presumption that it helps others to have that breakthrough, getting out of social reality. I'm stuttering. Drawing new connections and acquiring a clearer image of what's going on. After such an epiphany, one could claim that they passed on to the other side. So, yeah, I mean, again, I mean, a lot of Doors songs are about like drugs and stuff. I mean, Jim Morrison was quite the entertainer. And also, it's worth mentioning, it says that the Doors got their name from Aldous Huxley's novel, The Doors of Perception. And I know that Jim Morrison really liked the work of, not, I don't think it was Huxley, but it was what Huxley borrowed the title from his book, from a stanza from William Blake's book, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell. And I'm pretty sure that Jim Morrison was a fan of William Blake, if I'm remembering that correctly. But either way, yeah, The Doors of Perception, and just shortened it to The Doors. And I mean, they became one of the greatest bands of the 60s. I mean, they've sold over 100 million records, I think. But yeah, I mean, this is just becoming a tribute to the Doors, basically, this whole video. But yeah, I really like the Doors, so I mean, that's what's happening here. Okay, so getting into the verses here and reading some annotations. So it says right off the bat, you know, the day destroys the night, night divides the day. Try to run, try to hide, and then the chorus comes in. But it says they may actually be referring to a biblical passage, since in some versions of the Bible, when God created the earth, they reference the sun and the moon and their powers. And so it says the day destroys the night, night divides the day. The creation of the earth is nothing without the sun and the moon. The opening of the doors of perception are nothing without darkness, ignorance, and light, enlightenment. And so yeah, I mean, I never thought about that, but I mean, could be. So yeah, try to run, try to hide. So it says many people try to seek to escape from their suffering, although distraction may offer temporary reprieve. The roots of the problem will never simply go away. This line could be Morrison's statement about the many people who have destroyed their lives by seeking an easy route to higher consciousness, and an acknowledgement that he knows it to be counterproductive. And it says also, alternatively, it could be Jim stating that most people are afraid to go on the other side, and instead they try to run and hide from that which they do not understand, which is also very possible as well. So yeah, with the chorus, break on through the other side, break on through the other side. It says the band The Doors was named after Aldous Huxley's book entitled The Doors of Perception, a book that detailed Huxley's experience with hallucinogenic drugs. Jim Morrison was fascinated with the doors of perception and breaking on through to the other side to reach alternate states of consciousness. Of course, that's from a William Blake quote. If I can talk, if the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is infinite. Yes, okay, so that I remember that quote. But yeah, and I know Jim Morrison was a fan of either of those guys, or maybe both of those guys. I don't know, but I know that he was a poet himself. So I mean, he liked to read and write and all that stuff. So anyway, with the bridge, you got everybody loves my baby, everybody loves my baby, and then she gets high. And I didn't know if this version was gonna have the high part, because I know some versions cut out the high part just because like in that time you weren't allowed to say hi. It was like saying like the F word or something on the radio. But and even on like radio stations today, they still don't say hi, which is kind of weird. But either way, yeah. So it says everybody loves Morrison's girl because she gets high. This could be literal in the sense that people take advantage of her while she is inebriated, or that she's a lot of fun to be around when she's high. Due to concern over the use of the word high, the album, radio, and single version censored the word. However, the words was eventually restored in later reissues of the album. So yeah, there it is right there. And then you go into the third verse. I found an island in your arms, country in your eyes, arms that chain, eyes that lie. And I just love this writing as well, just the words. I know the Doors always put like written by the Doors. It was never say like written by Jim Morrison or written by Robbie Krieger or whatever. It was always written by the Doors, because they always put their stamps of approval on it. So I mean, they as a band they always came out with like great song lyrics. I always think, just because like I mean I'm pretty subjective to their music. But anyway, talking about how love can be an escape, a safe haven, but ultimately it can lead to imprisonment of the soul and deception. That's for the third verse. So then again, you get the chorus, and then you go into the fourth verse, which is the last verse. So it says, made the scene week to week, day to day, hour to hour. The gate is straight, deep and wide. And then he finishes the song with break on through the other side, and then a bunch of yas, which also kind of sounds like maybe a sexual kind of thing going on. If there wasn't music in the background. But so it says the scene is mostly life, whose door is narrow, and it's going on week to week, day to day, hour to hour. It's inspired by Andre Gide's book Straight is the Gate, which is in Freudian manner probes the complexities and terrors of adolescence and growing up. The title of which is borrowed in Matthew 7:14 King James version. My goodness, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and a few there be to find it that find it. So again, it's like taken from a book, I mean, or a passage from the Bible as well, or not the Bible, let's say, Andre Guy's book, Straight as the Gate. So yeah, but it does borrow from King James's version. So I mean, yeah, I mean, again, the Doors. I know that a lot of them, well, I mean, each member, they were pretty smart. I mean, I know that they all infused their own kind of like influences into the music, and that Jim Morrison loved to read. Like I said, he really loved poetry and all that stuff. And Raymond Zarek, he was very knowledgeable as well. He was very intelligent, and he the way he talked, he like it was just like listening to like a professor or something. So yeah, I mean they're all intelligent guys. I mean even though some people see them as like hippies or whatever, they're all very intelligent men, and they made some great music. And unfortunately, Jim Morrison kind of went down the well there at the end of it, and kind of died. But some people might think or whatever. Some people don't think he died, but either way, he's dead. He's gone. He hasn't been seen since 1971. So yeah, the conspiracy is a thing. But either way, they were around for from 67 to 71, and they had like 6 albums. And I mean, they came out with a lot of great music and a lot of hits. And yeah, I mean, it's fascinating what they did in such a short time, and the influence they've had on a lot of people and other bands. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess that's about it. Break on through. I think this was their first single. It was released in like January of '67. So I mean, it was a lot, friggin' sneak peek of things to come. And I guess that was a nice place to start for me, just their first single here, even though I've heard pretty much every song. But I mean, just starting with their first single and a reaction here. And yeah, so I guess that's it. You can request something down below if you want, or other bands or other Door songs or whatever you want. I want to like branch out, I guess, a little bit. I still want to listen to the Smiths and Cure and all that stuff because I really like those bands. And yeah, so I mean, we'll see what happens. And I'm just happy that people like to watch this and see my reactions and all that stuff. It's very nice, and it's all well appreciated. So if you want, you can comment and like and subscribe and all that stuff that people always say. And I guess that's about it. I'll talk to you guys soon. And yeah, I guess just thanks for watching. All right, I'll see you later.